please note in the first place how the apparent definitions of selfhood rely on the notion of representation. Our sense of selfhood, in other words, amounts to various kinds of representation. In my view, the German philosopher Hegel, in his book from 1807 entitled Phenomenology of Spirit, he wrote, quote, "Self-consciousness exists in and for itself by way of its existing in and for itself for another. In other words, it exists only as a recognized being."
What we do when we choose what you were talking about, our social output, let's say, how do we present ourselves on a Facebook, for example? Yes, there is that fake thing that everybody is happy, but there is also subtle tone to that that help us define who we are. The more platforms we have, the more we can define what hits us. Maybe not who we are, but what feels good.
And Kristeva builds a lot on Lacan's work. According to her, the stage we're born into is called hora, which is basically her word for chaos. To distinguish ourselves from the rest of the chaotic world, we learn to draw basic boundaries by feeling fear and disgust for anything that's threatening or evidently other. And Kristeva differs from Lacan in that she believes that even upon entering the symbolic stage, we continue oscillating between our chaotic desires and rational order.
The self-expression in art was not only socially recognized, but became the most important part of the creative process. Art primarily about the individual.
It's very interesting to me that when you read literature, it's always through the lens of something. You do a psychoanalytic reading, you do a deconstructionist reading. You never just read the literature, you have to do a singular reading. And I find it very fascinating to apply this idea of selfhood and sort of the multiple prisms that we view ourselves in to the different readings of literature. It's just wonderful.
Technology made a big advance and people lost a lot of sense of identity. And with the Apple, I think it really represents temptation. Like, the Apple is such a small portion of the man's peripheral, and it doesn't take much to just kind of peek around. But in that, it's so fixated on it that the character can choose to shift his gaze, and in that sense, kind of form their own identity. But due to kind of I mean, we've all kind of heard of the term, you know, work to live, live to work. So we work to make money so we can go on vacation, and then we go on vacation to take a break from work, and then you kind of think about it like, why am I doing that? I think that's pretty